It's so good, guys. So yummy, so packed with protein. Isn't that what people care about these days? All right. Hey everyone, it's Kenji, and I'm going to be making some Sundubu Jjigae. So whatever has been going around the schools this year has been extra bad. I feel like I've been kind of under the weather for a month straight. So, one of the things that I love eating when I'm not feeling my best is Sundubu Jjigae. Where I grew up in New York, we lived pretty close to the George Washington Bridge, and right across from Manhattan up there is Fort Lee, New Jersey, which has one of the largest Korean populations in the country. And there's this restaurant there called Soft Tofu Soup Restaurant that I used to go to. And it was always the place I wanted to go, especially when I was sort of feeling a little bit sick. Soft tofu soup, it's flavored with chilies. It's flavored with an anchovy broth, very, very soft tofu, lots of kimchi juice, and generally some kind of meat. You could get it with seafood. Today I'm going to be making it with pork belly. And I think that combination of rich pork belly and spicy sour kimchi and that the seafood stock works really, really nicely together. All right, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm making this anchovy broth. So I've got these big dried anchovies, and I'm just taking off the heads and the sort of dark guts inside. Those can give it a kind of fishier, bitter flavor. Some people leave them in, but I like to take them out. All right, that's all we need to do. We're gonna get these into a pot. I'm also gonna add some kombu. So this is sea kelp. You can get it at any, the dried sardines and the kombu, you can get at any sort of Asian supermarket, Japanese or Korean. I'm using a Japanese brand of these, but very common in Korean cooking too. So we're gonna add a few cups of water in here. And then I'm just gonna bring that to a simmer over here and let it simmer while I prepare the rest of my ingredients. The heads we can discard, or maybe my cats might want to eat them. I don't know, do cats really like eating fish bones like they do in, Heathcliff?
Here you go, one of my specialties.
Anyway, so the next step, I'm going to start building up the rest of my soup while that broth simmers. So I've got this Korean stone pot. You don't have to use a stone pot, obviously. You can use just a regular, any old sort of heavy bottom pot. But this is nice because what it does is that when you're done cooking, it retains a ton of heat. So you can bring this at the table and it'll stay sort of piping hot the entire time. So that's what I'm going to cook in. I'm going to start by slicing up my kimchi so I don't have to change my board too much. This is really well fermented kimchi, so nice and sour. You don't want to use a very young kimchi. You really want that sort of sourness to come through. Just going to chop it up into kind of bite-sized pieces. So if you've got like an old bottle of kimchi, an old jar of kimchi that's kind of languishing in your fridge, this is a great use for it. You want to keep all the juice also. When you open the jar, if you hear like a tss, like there's air escaping, that's a good sign too. That means that it's well fermented. There's a lot of carbon dioxide buildup in there from the fermentation. That's a sign that it's going to be nice and sour. Sometimes when you eat the kimchi, it might even taste a little bit effervescent because of that carbon dioxide pressure. You're essentially carbonating the vegetable through fermentation. All right, next ingredient is pork. This is pork jowl. I like pork jowl because it's really nice and rich and fatty, and that kind of complements the flavor, contrasts, I guess, the flavor of the kimchi. You can also use pork belly. You could use pork shoulder, but you want something that's pretty nice and fatty. We're gonna cut this up into biggish chunks. In fact, you could even do this with something like bacon, if you don't mind having that slightly smoky flavor, and that's all you can get in the sort of fatty pork department. Also, you can also do this with beef. So if you get something like beef short ribs, flanking cut beef short ribs, the kind you would use for kalbi. You can use that also. You just want something that's really nicely streaked and marbled with fat. Like you can see how nice and fatty that piece of pork is. Really nice marbling. Pork jowl is just delicious. It's the same cut that guanciale is made out of. And guanciale also takes advantage of that really nice fat. All right, so I'm gonna get this into my stone pot, swap out my cutting board. Now we'll get the rest of our ingredients. There aren't that many more left. So here's some garlic. Let me get the heat on that. I'm gonna add just a dab of sesame oil to get it going. But because that pork's so fatty, it's gonna render out a lot of fat, so we don't really need to add a ton of extra fat. The amount of garlic you use is, all dependent on your own taste here, but I'm going with like 6 kind of smallish cloves. All right, we'll give those a mince here. These stone pots, by the way, You can get them at any Korean supermarket, like an H Mark or an M2M, or whatever Korean supermarket you might have nearby. They cost maybe, I don't know, $15 or so. They're not too expensive, and they're very, very useful. All right, I've also got some scallions. And these scallions, I'm going to slice them up, but I'm going to keep the white parts separate from the green parts. Some people use onions in this dish. I'm using scallions just because I don't like to cut up too many extra things when I don't need to. So I'm going to just cut up the pale white parts and the sort of really pale yellowish green parts. And that's what we're going to kind of cook with. And then the rest of these scallions, I'm going to slice up and we'll save them for garnish at the end. All right, and those garnished scallions I will keep in a bowl of water so that they stay nice and crisp and crunchy. They'll also pull out some of their sort of more stronger odors so that they'll end up a little sort of nice and sweet when we're done with them. All right, now we're gonna make our spice paste. So I have here gochugaru, which is Korean chili flakes. Gochugaru, it tends to be not too spicy, it looks really deep and dark red, but gochugaru tends to be really flavorful, sometimes a little bit sweet, not too much crazy heat, so this is not like the kind of heat you would find in like an arbol chili, Mexican food or Thai food. It's a little bit milder. So I've got a couple tablespoons of gochugaru in there. I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of sugar. About a teaspoon of sesame oil and a little splash of soy sauce. And this is going to be our sort of flavoring blend. We're going to mix it up into a nice paste. Yum. All right, I'm going to use today a bit of this daikon radish. You wouldn't always find it in a sort of restaurant version of this dish, but I have this neighbor next door. Her name is Alice, and her mother makes this kimchi and pork tofu jjigae. And Alice brought some over for me a couple months back, and it had chunks of radish in it, or maybe it might have been mu, like the Korean version of daikon radish. And I thought that was really tasty, and I love the way radish kind of tenderizes but stays a little crunchy and absorbs the flavor of the broth. So I'm going to start adding radish to my kimchi jjigae as well, which I think is not an uncommon sort of home-style version of the dish. All right, so for this radish, I'm going to cut it into quarters. I'm just going to kind of chunk it up like that. I like to have sort of nice chunky pieces that are big enough that you get that really nice sort of boiled radish texture, that kind of soft crunch that they provide. All right, so I've got this kind of over a medium-high heat. I'm going to turn it down just a tiny bit. And we're looking for that pork to get rendered and pretty nicely browned. We don't need like a deep, dark Maillard reaction here, but just a little bit of browning is nice for flavor, In fact, I'm going to steal a piece out of there and just eat it on its own with a bit of salt and MSG. Love it. Once our pork is starting to get a little bit brown like that, we're going to go in with our garlic and scallions. You could do garlic and onions if you want. I've made this dish various ways over the years. There's many different ways you can make it. You could use garlic, you could use onions. You don't have to use pork. I don't always use pork. Sometimes we add fish sauce. Like today, I'll probably add a little bit fish sauce. Some people add gochujang as well, but I like this version quite a bit, so that's what we're going with. All right, we just want that to get aromatic, about 30 seconds, and then we're going to go in with our spice paste. Now here's the part where we got to start being a little bit careful. We really don't want those chilies to burn, but we do want to kind of bloom their flavor so they get absorbed into that pork fat. So when the soup is done, there should be kind of like droplets of this really crimson oil floating on the top. Oh God, that smells so good. And that's the sort of flavored pork fat we got. Okay, so before this burns, I'm gonna get the kimchi juice in there. I'm gonna deglaze with that a little. Actually, I'm gonna do a little splash of soju also. You could use sake, you could use soju. That's a Korean rice wine or Japanese rice wine. Just a couple tablespoons. That's also not necessarily an extremely common ingredient, but I think it adds a little depth to it. Okay, we'll do a little splash of fish sauce. Also optional. All right. So we're looking for that really sort of deep paste here. Deep red paste. All right, let's go in with our kimchi, our radish. Stir that all up. When you've got, a sore throat or a cough, or you're just feeling a little under the weather like this is the best remedy I know. This or good miso soup, maybe. All right. At this point, I'm going to take our broth, just put a strainer over it here, and we're going to pour in, let's start with about a cup or so. You don't need too much. You might have heard it called, soft tofu soup, but it's really more of a stew. You don't want it to be too soupy. All right, let's give that a taste. It's probably going to need some salt. Kimchi is salty, so there's some level of salt in there already, but definitely need some salt. So I'm going to go season it with some salt and MSG. Oh, so good. Stir that up. The pepper, by the way, you can absolutely adjust it to your own taste. But taste that Korean chili mix that you make, the one with the sesame oil and the chili, and see how spicy it is. If you find that it's not too spicy for you, go ahead and add a lot. And if it's not spicy enough, you can add more. But you can always adjust at the end also with more of that pepper paste. Oh. I'm gonna eat it all before I even add the tofu. All right, we're gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes so that the radish and the kimchi can soften, and then we'll come back and finish it off, all right? So I will see you in 10 minutes. So I did add a splash more of the stock because it started to just reduce down a little bit too much. But at this point, let's taste our pork jowl. A little bit chewy, nice and fatty. And our daikon. Just where I like it. So it's tender, but still has a little bit of a crunch to it. It's not dissolving down. And this broth is just, oh my God. Oh, so good. All right. Final ingredients to add are soft tofu. So we're looking for this Soondubu. It's a Korean style tofu. It is softer than even, like a Japanese style soft tofu. So this is very, very soft. Sometimes they make them with these little spouts that you can squeeze them out of. But for this dish, we want them to kind of remain chunky. So I'm going to just slice them in half like that. And then we're going to let them kind of fall out into there. We don't want to crush them too much. Okay. Just like that. And then we can use our spoon to just kind of gently break them up, but we want them to remain in pretty big chunks. That's sort of part of the joy of this dish, is those nice big quivering chunks of chili coated tofu that you can kind of slurp down like Jell-O, You see that? Ooh. All right, we're almost done. We're just gonna let this come up to a simmer. The tofu doesn't really need to cook much once it's in there. We're just trying to kind of heat it through. The more you cook it, the kind of more it'll tighten up and lose this texture, this really soft, jiggly texture. And we kind of want to maintain that so that we can really slurp it up. So we're gonna heat this up. Gonna add our final garnishes, and then we're done. At this point, you also don't want to stir it too much because you really don't want to break down that tofu any more than it has to be. I learned how to make this dish, I think, in college. I was dating a Korean girl, and we used to make this dish at her place after, I had grown up eating it at this soft tofu soup restaurant, but she introduced me to a lot of these home-style Korean cooking techniques. That tofu does release some water, so you want to make sure you taste it again after the tofu sort of started heating up. and make sure that it doesn't need any extra seasoning. I think it's pretty good as is. I cannot get over how good this is. Every time I make it, it's like, I don't know. It's a comforting memory. It's a comforting dish. It coats your tummy. It makes your throat feel better. It makes you sweat a little bit because of the heat. It's just like, I don't know, perfect winter dish, perfect dish for cold season. All right, now that we're piping hot, just 2 more things to finish it off. One of them is a egg, which we're just gonna break raw right into the center there. And finally, the rest of those scallions right on top. Okay, I'm gonna transfer this over to my trivet here, and you'll see that it stays bubbling even at the table. I'm gonna eat this with just a bit of rice. You could do a vegetable side that's very common for this, something like, cucumbers dressed with sesame oil and a little gochugaru. You could do some sliced kimchi on the side. You could do a bean sprout salad on the side. Any kind of banchan that you like will go well. But that kind of custardy tofu, the rich pork belly, the crunchy kimchi. It's one of my favorite flavor combinations and one of the most comforting dishes I can think of. I'm gonna leave that egg yolk here, but kind of mix in the white. You can break it open and sort of mix it all together, but I like kind of leaving it for a little while so that I eat some of the soup and then I get that nice sort of jammy egg yolk that's been cooked by the heat of the soup at the end. It's so good, guys. So yummy, so packed with protein. Isn't that what people care about these days? All right. Kimchi, tofu, jjigae, a Korean fermented cabbage and tofu stew. I added some daikon to here. I used pork jowl instead of the typical pork belly, but umami, hot, comforting, a dazzling array of textures. It's one of my favorites. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals. See you later.